All right. As reported by Ultimate Classic Rock, Cheap Tricks at Budokan.
I've heard of Cheap Trick. I like this story.
Okay.
Cheap Tricks at Budokan was not.
I've heard of that too. Oh, we're in the zone now.
So I'm going to play you two clips.
Okay.
Please
Both,
do.
I think, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, are some of the most well-known pieces of audio from an album, and neither are music. All right, here's the first one.
This next one is the first song on our new album, which just came out this week. It's called Surrender.
Wow, no, huh? I'm the only guy, huh, that grew up with Cheap Trick. Here's the other one.
And this next song is called I Want You to Want Me.
See, I knew Cat knew that one. Okay. All
Yep.
right, yeah, I figured you'd know at least one of them there.
Yes. Yeah, the first one, I know.
Yeah, well, both of them come from Cheap Trick's 1978 iconic live album at Budokan. The band's fourth album, it marked their critical and commercial breakthrough. First formed in 1967 under a different name, the band became Cheap Trick in 1973 after attending a Slade concert, where bassist Tom Peterson commented that Slade used, quote, every cheap trick in the book, end quote, as part of their act. It wasn't until 1978, however, that the band had a single chart, Surrender, the lead track from the band's third studio album, Heaven Tonight, which peaked at number 62 on the Billboard 100. With their popularity rising in Japan, Japanese record executives with Epic Records, which was then a subsidiary of CBS Records, pitched the idea of a live concert in their country. Apparently, there may be a number of these, but I know there's other at Budokans, including Bob Dylan. I think Bob Dylan was the first, and then Cheap Trick was the second. I don't know if there's any after that. I stopped paying attention. So this was a thing, certainly at the time. And so on April 28th and 30th in 1978, the band performed to an audience of 12,000 incessantly screaming Japanese fans at the Nippon Budokan. Which you could hear it in that slight introduction, but the whole time they're just,
Yeah.
Screaming.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the popularity, where are we? Although the album was intended for release only in Japan, strong airplay of the promotional album From Tokyo to You led to the U.S. release of At Budokan in February of 1979. This is when they finally made it. So after toiling away for, nearly a decade, recording this out, there's some kind of magic that happens with this particular album that they break through. And it's bolstered by the success of the songs, including the songs that I just mentioned, like I Want You to Want Me, which reached number 7 on the Billboard Hot 100. And you might remember this as well from there. The band's Fats Domino cover of Fats Domino's Ain't That a Shame, which was a big hit for them. That charted at 35. It's their best-selling LP. It peaked at number 4 on the Billboard 200, ranked number 13 on the Billboard's top pop albums of 1979, and went triple platinum by 1986.
Woo.
I think the fact that it was a live album, again, talking about what alchemy was happening that finally had them break through, because their music hadn't changed or evolved all that much, I don't believe. But the energy of the live performance at Budokan, it had to be what it was. And I think that's evidenced by the popularity of I Want You to Want Me, because that track didn't chart until the Budokan album, even though a studio version of it appeared a couple of years later or earlier on the band's second album in color.
Interesting.
So the song alone wasn't good enough. It was something else. And the song itself, you're familiar with I do have a clip of the studio version of it. It's a long intro. It's just lacking.
Do I even know the studio version? Wow.
You may never have heard it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, it sounds...
Oh, I feel like I have. Oh, yeah.
It's a great tune, a great track, but I don't know. It's a long intro already. I think you really had to go into the I Want You to Want Me, which doesn't come in until like 35 seconds into the song. See, still not happening yet.
Still not there.
Maybe that was part of it, seriously, because my recollection of the live one is, like 2 measures in and they start singing.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Well, there's definitely energy in a live performance that you don't get. And we've talked about live theater and what a difference that makes for even seeing celebrities that you know, but seeing them live, doing their craft in real time, not through a lens and after an editor and after color grading, just seeing that guy there doing his thing. And I can imagine, I'm sure music might be that way to the nth degree because music is so primal and it's so alive. It's so constant, it's a driving force in and of itself. And they make that live. So if that track had anything, the live version is going to be the one that would make it take off. So I could see why maybe Kat never even heard the studio one because who's playing that?
I don't think I have heard that version. So did they have an album out before this live album? I'm sorry, I didn't follow if that was the case. Okay. So they did have an album out. This wasn't like their first album.
This is their fourth album.
It's the fourth album. Wow.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
Because he said Want You to Want Me was on in color before this.
Right.
A couple years before, right? So, and just nobody cared. Not enough people cared, we'll say, right?
Okay, so this is their fourth.
Okay, if you got 4 albums, you're not doing bad.
Right.
Right? You're just not Cheap Damn Trick yet. You're not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cheap Damn Trick.
I don't have any albums, so just say
I gotta say though, this solves. Well, this doesn't solve a mystery. Again, I think I was just an idiot when I was younger. Not that I've improved all that much, but I was always fascinated with I always thought I Want You to Want Me was off of At Budokan, which is why I couldn't understand how the audience was already singing along.
No.
Right. They were doing that.
Yeah. Because they had heard it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Apparently Japan, they were huge.
Okay.
And so they would have known it already from the second album.
Yes.
Yeah. And who's showing up at a Cheap Trick concert but people who have listened to Cheap Trick albums. So of course they would know. That makes sense. Okay.
Presumably.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
or they won tickets in a contest. I don't know.
12,000 people. I got to get rid of these fucking tickets, man. You won too. You also won.
Cheap who?
Yeah. And the intro to Surrender, you'll remember, he says this next song is the first song on our new album. So just a few months earlier, Heaven Tonight came out, and Surrender's the first track on Heaven Tonight. Anyway, I told you all that to tell you this, that per Ultimate Classic Rock, we just learned there's a bit of false marketing in connection with the record. During a recent appearance on the Magnificent Others with Billy Corgan podcast, album producer Jack Douglas made a surprising confession. Douglas and mixing engineer Jay Messino were tasked with assembling the live album way back when. And when the men received the raw audio, they were shocked by what they heard. Per Douglas, quote, "They sent me the tapes, and Jay and we listened to everything. Budokan sounded terrible. It was just so poorly recorded. I don't know, like the mics were off. They were pointed the wrong direction. There was a little bit of drums, very little, not much, no bass drum." This would drive me crazy. I've been, I used to do a lot of audio stuff in the theater, and oh my God. And during the pandemic, I did some stuff for some folks, for some friends.
Yep.
Poor audio quality. John, too. I mean, right? Poor audio quality. Can you imagine? We lament about podcasts that don't, use good mics, et cetera, like that.
Right.
You recorded a whole 2 days of concerts, and it sounds like shit because someone didn't turn the mics on?
Oh.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So what Will would do is he would just claim, I don't know, the SD card just stopped working.
Oh, yeah.
I got corrupted.
John's best jokes got lost.
Good gracious. I'll just re-record it with someone else who I want to hear talk more.
Yeah. Trust John. His jokes are really funny. You don't need to hear them. Well, thankfully for Cheap Trick,
Reputation alone.
the band's performance in Osaka, which they had also recorded on tour, was much better. Engineer Messina went to work making sure the audio included on the live album sounded as strong as possible, and the rest, as I told you just moments ago, is history. For Douglas, the connection to the project didn't end there. Decades later, Rick Nielsen, the colorful guitarist for the band, contacted him as Cheap Trick was prepping their 30th anniversary CD and DVD reissue. Douglas explained how the small deception became fact, even among the band. Quote, Rick Nielsen, sorry, quote, how did I write this? Here, quote, Rick calls me up. He goes, we have the film from Budokan. We're going to do a 5-1 mix. I want you guys to mix a 5-1 version of it. And I said, you have the film from Budokan? He goes, yeah, just use like the same kind of mix maybe. I said, but the mix is Osaka, remember? Mm-hmm. And sure enough, Nielsen had forgotten where the album's audio really came from.
So why didn't they call it at Osaka?
Yes. That's what I was going to ask, Kat.
You're gonna say the same
Is it like
thing.
Madison Square Garden? Like Budokan
It's
is like the
because-
place, that's the venue everyone wants to do an album from? Or
It's because it's because, as I mentioned earlier, the record label was doing an at Budokan series. Started with Bob
Okay.
Dylan.
All right.
Cheap Trick was number 2. Marcus in the comments tells us Chic
Yes.
had a at Budokan album.
And Clapton, he pointed out.
Okay.
Yep.
Clapton
Okay.
as well. Okay.
All right.
Yep.
There you go.
Yeah.
Crow Friend
So
says,
it's staying on brand. I get it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they didn't want to mess up this thing and they were just, 2 records into it at that point, or they would have been. They were
So it's now
one record into
at
it.
Budokan, asterisk.
Well, nobody knew until this Ultimate Classic Rock, I guess until the podcast interview, and then Ultimate Classic Rock blasted it out. I checked the Wikipedia page when this article came out, and it still had it, all Budokan, Budokan. And then today, as of today, they added now a footnote that says it's really recorded at Osaka.
Wow.
Crow Friend says, Dwight Yoakam did a cover of I Want You to Want Me. That's worth listening to. Okay.
It is. I've heard that.
Okay. Nice.
Mark says, same thing with Chris's Alive album, really made the band, although it's not really live. Huh. All right. Now, Mark, this is something I wanted to look into. Are you suggesting the band says it's live and it sounds live, but they did that with some audio trickery and it's really a studio album? Or you're just saying that calling them alive, they say it's alive, but it has they weren't trying to suggest it's live.
There's
I
no
want to know.
audience.
Because I was wondering if anybody's ever faked it, and I couldn't find any examples of bands faking it. Because then you could record it in the most ideal conditions for the audio quality, and then add crowd sounds and stuff like that. And Marcus,
Can you
says-
imagine, like
Yeah.
Johnny Cash? Folsom Prison actually recorded at Joliet.
I think he didn't even record it in a prison. Yeah,
And it was in the lobby. It wasn't in front of any inmates. That was all.
I recorded it at a Bible camp.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever though. Yeah.
Interesting. That's like an example. I think of Johnny Cash live from Folsom Prison is just like, just peak live for me. And it's so imperfect and it's such a mess. And that's okay. Like that's part of the charm of it. But it's not because it sounded terrible. It was just because it was not a well orchestrated performance. So I could see why you don't put out one that sounds bad. And you don't want to go, do over. Can we everybody back to Budokan, please? Right? So you had to do something.
Back on the bus.
I can imagine.
I didn't turn the mics on. Back on the bus, everybody. Marcus says most of the soundtrack for Purple Rain was actually from an '83 live performance. Huh. And on that album, Prince played all the instruments and also was in the crowd.
He's cheering. He has lots of different costumes. He's everyone.
Yeah. Okay, I got to do one more. Move it to another track. Okay, ready?